right now, but yeah. So welcome everyone to this RFP info session for our Respond to Racism collaboration with the Lake Oswego Library for our upcoming public art installation. Uh, we'll go over the agenda, but just quickly, can we all mute our microphones just to make sure we don't have any like background noise or anything? Okay, yeah, thank you. So yeah, today we're gonna be going over the application process for aspiring artists for this project. Just a quick agenda. We'll do a quick welcome, introduce facilitators on this project, and then we'll do project overview, go over, again, just go through the application so you know exactly what you're submitting. We have Nora and Nicole here from the Arts Council of Lake Oswego who will be doing a presentation on the permanent art collection process, do a quick recap, and then leave some time for questions and answers. So again, we'll be recording this session for anyone who isn't able to be here right now. We'd ask for, if you have questions, to either use the raise hand feature at the bottom of Zoom, should be under, let's see, maybe it shows up a little wonky here on mine, but it should be at the bottom of your thing. Or you can also type questions in the chat. And yeah, again, just ask people to, when we're not speaking, to mute microphone, just because there's a lot of background noise, and we want to make sure everything comes in clearly. So yeah, before we go on to the next thing, just do quick introductions. My name is Bruce Poinsett. I am the Executive Director of Respond to Racism in Lake Oswego. And we'll do a little bit more about RtR later, but I'll pass it off to Nicole and Nora.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Nathan. I'm the Executive Director at the Arts Council of Lake Oswego, and I'm here with my colleague, Nora Crean. Nora?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm Nora. I'm the Public Art and Collections Manager at the Arts Council of Lake Oswego, and we are one of the stakeholders in this project, so we'll be working alongside some of the artists at different points in the application process.
Oh, and Donna, did you want to do a quick introduction?
Sure. I'm Donna Harlan. I'm the administrative assistant at the library, and we are the location where this art installation will take place. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So a quick overview of the project. RtR is a community-led nonprofit created to disrupt racism in Lake Oswego, Oregon, and more now recently Clackamas County. And we are leading this public art installation that we hope to debut in summer 2026, along with the Lake Oswego Public Library. We chose the library based on our shared values of diversity, equity, inclusion, education, and community engagement for people of all races, ages, and backgrounds. We're also partnering with the Arts Council of Lake Oswego as a project manager with, I should say, not as a project manager, but yeah, as a collaborative partner on this. And we selected the site, one, because is libraries historically served many community members, especially underrepresented community members, and been a space of belonging in Lake Oswego. And it is a high traffic destination. So not just is this an important public art piece, but it's a place where it'll be most seen in the community. A little bit about the site. The Lake Oswego Library is located on 706 4th Street. The land where it's beyond measures 1 acre, and it sits along 4th Street between D and E avenues. The envisioned location for this phase of the art project, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but it's interpretive panels and sidewalk stamps. It is along the front elevation of the library on the east side of the building between D Avenue and the main front entrance to the library. This expansive footprint offers numerous prospective opportunities for proposals, but installations are not required nor expected to use the entirety of the site. So to give you a little bit more of the idea of where the library is located in Lake Oswego, we have a site map, and we also have a map of the neighborhood itself, and again, where the library is located, where the installation would be. We also have some photos of the site in the video, and we have more in this drive link up here, which we will also provide to you. So I'm just briefly going to go through our goals for this project one by one. First, artwork should facilitate a sense of introspection, knowledge, and hope. 2, artwork should be engaging, informative, and inspiring to the public, especially youth and families. 3, the installation should be ADA accessible and enhance the atmosphere by exhibiting a variety of sensory elements. Number 4, artwork should be grounded in knowledge about the local history, balancing information about the past, present, and future of Lake Oswego. 5, artworks are encouraged to be designed in such a way that allows for easy relocation or reproduction. 6, artwork should harmonize with the mission of RtR, the library's values in architectural design, and the City of Lake Oswego's public art guidelines. And lastly, strong consideration is given to proposals that are led by artists who are Black, Indigenous, and/or people of color. So let me tell you a little bit more about the partners here. First, of course, our organization, Respond to Racism. We are a community-led effort to disrupt racism in LO and Clackamas County. Our mission is to educate and empower residents with the tools to combat racism in all its forms and make LO, Clackamas County, and Oregon a better place to live for people of all races and ethnicities. Our work is based around community education, and we've grown to advocacy, community-based cultural events. And the 3 pillars of our work are learning, dialogue, and action. In many ways, it's like a 3-legged stool as far as like how our approach works. A little about the library. The City of Lake Oswego's mission is to cultivate an exceptional quality of life for everyone in the community and specific to the library, to inspire discovery and cultivate well-being by welcoming all people to read, learn, and connect. The library is committed to building a culture and a space that is accessible and welcoming to all, and where all people of all backgrounds, identities, and abilities have equitable opportunities to thrive. Now a little bit about the Arts Council of LO. The Arts Council of Lake Oswego makes it possible to experience the power of art every day. ACLO is a local arts nonprofit agency managing the public art program on behalf of the City of Lake Oswego. Lake Oswego has an established public art program, Gallery Without Walls, that works to integrate art into the daily lives of local residents and visitors to the community by presenting works from regional, national, and international artists that resonate with people of diverse backgrounds. Now, just to go over the timeline, and we will go over this again in the presentation, but proposals for this are due August 15th, 11:59 p.m. August 15th. After the selection process, notifications will be sent out to the selected artists and those who have applied on October 22nd. And this process from August to November will include the panel review, artist selection, and the beginning of the distribution of funds. The design phase will occur from November 2025 through January 2026. Fabrication and installation will take place February through July 2026. And then The projected date to have the artwork completed and unveiled will be August 2026. Before I go on, are there any questions? Yes, I'm sorry, is that Howie?
Yeah, it's Hallie. Perfect. It seems like a non sequitur. Is this the main library in Lake Oswego? Are there other libraries, or this like the main one?
Yes, that's a great question. This is the main library, or the library, I should say.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so a little about eligibility. This opportunity is open to all artists or artist teams currently residing in Oregon. If you're applying as a team, at least one member must meet the residence eligibility requirement by submitting a W-9 with a permanent address in Oregon. Applicants should submit a proposal to create both artworks for this project, which are the interpretive panels and the sidewalk stamps. Those with significant current or past connections, or those with interest and ability to create meaningful connections to Lake Oswego and communities served by the public artwork site are preferred. Applicants who have an interest in and or experience with social justice, art as a tool of social justice, community engagement, and or local history are strongly encouraged to apply. Strong consideration will be given to artists who are Black, Indigenous, and or people of color. The selected artist team must be able to create, complete, and install their work by summer 2026. Artist roles and expectations. We invite artist teams to submit proposals to create an original artwork that embodies the themes of hope and healing amid Lake Oswego's history of racism and the city's aspiration to be free of racism. Artists at all stages of their career may submit proposals. So this is part of a three phases of a public art installation. And this RFP is for the first two, which are interpretive panels that communicate historically relevant and accurate information regarding the history of racism in Lake Oswego, the city's aspiration to be free of racism and center residents of color, past and or present. And sidewalk stamps. These could be etchings, engravings, embedded artwork, or something else, with words along 4th Street between D and E avenues. And for more context and more information, this is all included in the full RFP documents. I'm going to get out of this for a minute and talk a little about the proposal or the RFP specifically, so we can go through exactly what you will be submitting. Again, requests for proposals are due by 11:59 on Friday, August 15th, 2025. What they will include is an artist bio, 750 characters max. You also submit a statement of interest, and you'll have two options for this. You can either submit a written statement in 3,000 characters or less, or you can upload a video or voice recording that is no longer than 2 minutes. If you upload a video, we ask that you submit either a Vimeo or a YouTube link, because folder space is very limited. In your statement of interest, we want you to address the following: the title of your project, the vision, and how you plan to execute it. We want you to speak on community engagement and the social impact you hope to have with the piece. And lastly, we want you to speak to the local connection and sustainability of it. You may also submit drawings, sketchings, or renderings of the proposed artwork. And this may include details such as title, materials, / media for each portion, scale and dimensions, color, weight, additional equipment or needs. So for example, projection, lights, electricity, etc. ADA compliance, and multiple angles or perspectives of the artworks. We do understand these are preliminary sketches and may evolve based on site-specific requirements and technical feasibility. We also ask that you submit a budget, and we've provided some sample budget documents which are linked here. You can also submit up to 5 work samples just to give us an idea of your past work and give an idea of just past work you've done. Also, some documents we ask for that are optional are a resume, a link to your website and or social media accounts, and a proposed timeline to complete the artworks. So just to go through what that'll look like in the actual document, and you submit your email, make sure we get back to you. Your bio here, the written statement, again, a link to YouTube or Vimeo. It's an oral statement. And it might also switch that to also upload an audio recording. So that needs to be updated. And then for the proposed artworks, you can upload files by clicking add file. Same thing with the budget. Similarly with your work samples, and just something to note for naming. If it's a single file, we ask for this format of last name, first name, underscore the document name. If you have multiple images in a sample, then we'd also ask you to add the document number. So what that might look like, we put a sample in here. And this is actually the first art installation that RtR did. It's a mural called Miss Willie's Dream, which depicts our founder, Willie Poinsett. And it currently sits as a piece of the permanent art collection on the side of City Hall in Lake Oswego. So for this sample, or this sample of how we ask you to submit it, it's work sample 1_1, and there's a video of the unveiling. And then work sample 1_2 is a photo of the work itself. Again, you can add files to submit your work samples. And for the optional supplementary materials, again, we have an add file link, another add file option, and then links for the website, social media, and you can put in your timeline to complete the artworks as the short answer. So now let's talk a little bit about the selection process. We've composed a panel of nominated stakeholders, which include representatives from RtR, city officials, and the ACLO, as well as local artists, community members, activists, and experts in public art, local history, social justice, and or community engagement. They are going to be looking at proposals and will be submitting a short list of recommended applicants to the Public Art Committee, which is a committee of the Arts Council of Lake Oswego, and the Lake Oswego Public Library Executive Director for an administrative review and site feasibility check. These final recommendations will then be made by RtR's Executive Director, board, and stakeholders, informed by the panel review and administrative input, and then presented to the Lake Oswego City Council for final approval. Notifications of the decision will be sent by Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Give you an idea of the rubric for this, or what they will be using. People will be scored on a scale from 1 to 10 on artistic expression, art as a tool for social justice, engagement with local history and communities, alignment with the vision of the project, accessibility and inclusivity, feasibility and longevity, and maintenance and provisions. And we have the link for this, so you don't have time there to go through each of these word by word, but we have a link for this so you can see for your own review on the Respond to Racism website. So once the artist team is selected, a contract between the city of Lake Oswego and the artist and/or artist team will be issued. A site visit at the library will be scheduled with the artist to determine the exact installation location, assess current site conditions, and identify any adjustments needed to ensure safe and effective installation of artworks. Support for obtaining an encroachment permit will also be provided. So now a little bit about the grant amount, budget, and supports. So the artist or artist team will receive up to $31,000, and this will be inclusive of all project-related expenses. So the budget will cover artist fees, design development, materials, fabrication, installation, travel, shipping, transportation, taxes, communication time with all relevant stakeholders, contingency, ADA compliance components and equipment, structural engineering fees, and coordination with any construction teams and third-party contractors who may help to fabricate and install the artwork. The ACLO can assist with identifying an engineer to produce the required stamped structural calculations for the panel. However, that cost must be covered by the artist. We've also provided a sample budget for you to use when constructing that. In fact, go out and just, let's see. Hallie, I see you have a question.
Yes, just on the previous slide, it mentioned something about a structural. Could you just give me some clarity on the ACLO can assist with identifying an engineer to produce the required stamped structural calculations of the panel? I just need clarity on what that means.
Okay, yeah. Nicole, Nora, would you be able to answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can speak to that. Basically, any public art should be engineered, so there should be stamped structural calculations proving that the artwork can withstand, a child hanging on it, an earthquake, things like that, just to ensure public safety. So when it comes time to that, the Arts Council is happy to recommend and connect you with any local structural engineers who can provide that service for your project.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Noah. So let me go through, if I can get out of this real quick. Yeah, so to give you all an idea of what a sample budget would look like. So you include artist name, project title, the date. So then this would be November 2025 to August 2026. And how this might break up. So for example, artist fees, design and project management for 6,000. Design development, spell development, but ADA consultations and engineering, 2,500, 6,000 for materials, 10,000 for fabrication installation, 4,000 for administrative costs and logistics, 1,000 perhaps for marketing and documentation, and then 1,500 for contingencies because you never know what might happen. And that all would add up to the 31,000, which would be the total budget amount.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hey, greetings, everyone. My name is Salim. I'm one of the artists that's going to be trying to submit. I had a question about the mural. Is this an indoor mural or is this a outdoor mural project? And is it vinyl or can you hand paint it? I didn't see where those things were applying.
Right. So yeah, so this wouldn't be a mural project. Our previous art installation, the Missile Dream mural, was that. So for this would be let me go back to where it is. Yeah. So this combination is it's a combination of interpretive panels about like the history of racism in Lake Oswego, and then sidewalk stamps, which could be etchings, engravings, or something along that line. And they would be sort of the smaller pictures, but they would be going outside, basically in this outdoor space of the library.
Oh, okay. Well, as an artist, would you submit that digitally, or would the artist that got selected have to like paint that on the sidewalk, etc.?
Yeah. So you would submit renderings in in the application here. So let me
Okay.
find, yeah. So we'd have up to like five, submit up to five files, basically like sketchings, renderings of what you would envision this looking like.
Okay. Thank you for the clarity.
No problem. And Howie?
Just to piggyback off what Salim just said, that image on the front for the site photos is one of the places where I'm assuming it would be a panel, or maybe I'm confused. Maybe that would just be for the stamping. Are those plantings permanent? So in other words, the panels would be appearing above the plantings, the bushes, the trees.
Um, so with the panels, I mean, I think the exact location, it'd be in that front area as far as above the trees. I don't think that part is set yet, but we would be looking for the etchings on the sidewalk area, and then I think the panels and us yeah, I think the panels would be determined as far as like exactly where in that general area, but it would be in that front part of the library.
Are the panels like almost like they would be standing up like sculptural? Or are they standing in front of the library, I guess is what I'm asking? Or are they attached to the library for when you're doing your rendering?
Right. I believe they would be standing up, but that might be open for I think that would actually be open up for interpretation with the library. So I don't know if you're in a place where you can speak on that now, but um yeah, I think that would be a little bit
I think it would be one of those things, if you don't mind me jumping in, that would
yeah,
be open to open to discussion. I think our initial thought was that the interpretive panels would be right off of the sidewalk. They're not attached to the library, but more freestanding, so that they could be viewed and accessed in accordance with the ADA, with the Accessibilities Act. Um, and that's kind of the information that I had as far as what we were kind of understanding it would look like.
Thank you.
Just,
I'll jump in here too, just really briefly. Yes, how Donna explained it is what we were thinking. And the plantings and landscaping that is there, that would remain there. That's a particular, it's a garden space and some native gardening that's been installed there over the last few years. So the plantings that are there would remain.
thank you, Don and Nicole, for stepping in there and offering some clarification on that. So let me get back. We also on budget. Um, yeah, in terms of what a payment schedule might look like for this, just real quickly. Yeah. So within that 30 executed contract, you receive 10,000, and then 3,000 after completion of design and technical documents in December. Another 3,000 after completion of technical review of the final design plus updated timeline for fabrication, delivery, and installation in January. Start the fabrication phase in February with payment of 8,000. Hopefully be completed about 90% of the fabrication phase through March to receive another 3,500, with the final 3,500 coming in that May through August period for delivery, installation, and final documentation. Just quick note, all payments are contingent upon the timely completion of each phase, city and ACLO approval of deliverables, and submission of required invoices or documentation. The city and artists agreed to act in good faith to adhere to the timeline as outlined. With that, stop sharing and turn it over to Nicole and Nora to talk a little bit about the ACLO and the permanent art collection process.
Okay, can everyone see the screen? It says Arts Council on the top. Okay, great. So my name's Nora. I'm the Public Art and Collections Manager with the Arts Council of Lake Oswego. The Arts Council of Lake Oswego, just so you understand, we are a nonprofit, just like Respond is. We have a small team of 4 paid staff, but Nicole and I will be your point people for this project. So the Arts Council is contracted with the city of Lake Oswego to maintain their various art collections and also maintain the public art program. And in addition to that contract, the Arts Council has a gallery in City Hall, and we operate and curate the gallery. We focus on educational programming, curated exhibitions, and trying to support regional artists. Okay, so again, that's my email and Nicole's email. I'll be going on maternity leave in September at some point, and I'll be available in February, but you can always email both Nicole and I, and we will be able to get back to you. Like Bruce mentioned, the Arts Council will be issuing out payments. So if your project is selected as the final project, then you would be the Arts Council would be facilitating the payments throughout your milestones. Okay. Nicole, do you want to go through this one, or do you want me to run through it real quick? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I was practicing my good Zoom behavior and, just have to come off mute. So the role of the Arts Council in this project is to help ensure that we are implementing the public art guidelines for the city of Lake Oswego. There's a pretty extensive document and set of guidelines that we, with this piece coming into being a part of the city of Lake Oswego's collection, that we really have to ensure that they are dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. So we will help the artist team with this, and we will assist them in making a presentation to the Public Art Committee, which is the committee which oversees the public art program in the city. So they help us run this program. It's a committee of citizens, artists, all kinds of people who are involved in the city and our public art program. So we will present to the Public Art Committee. They will, so that we can get their approval and we move further on down the track. We will facilitate the contract between the artist and the city of Lake Oswego. We have to do that. We do that all the time with our rotating gallery program. And so this is a role we're very familiar in fulfilling. And so we will be able to do that with the artist and the city of Lake Oswego. We will help the artist with their installation plan, implementing that, making sure that all the different aspects are thought of. You know, how are we going to install this? What are the types of materials? What kinds of needs are there? Maybe there's electrical, maybe there is, we have to understand where the right of way goes, where the sprinkler system is, all different kinds of things like that. And as we noted before, we'll help connect you as the artist with different contractors in terms of, okay, this is a engineering firm that you can use for the engineering drawings. Here is, a crane company if you're in need of that. So we will help you with those things as well to make sure those get implemented. We also will have representatives that serve on the selection committee panel. So every step of the way, we're helping along with Respond, along with the library. We're all working collaboratively to bring this project to fruition. Then when we get down to kind of the nuts and bolts of install, transportation, all those different things, again, we will help get you connected with the right folks. We will manage the site installation with you, working with the city. Do we need to have any permits? Have we gotten all the information that we need from the ADA coordinator at the city? How is the piece getting here? Do we need parking barricades? Things like that. We will help facilitate that part of the process so that the installation can take place seamlessly. And then also, as part of the process, what we do is we have the responsibility for maintaining these pieces as the collection grows. And so we need to know, and it becomes part of the record of the piece of the artwork, is that what kind of provisions do we need for maintenance? Again, public art needs to withstand all different kinds of pressures, not only from people, but the weather, the kind of site that it's located in. What are the things around them? There are trees, all different kinds of stuff. So we need to know what kind of maintenance provisions need to be in place for this piece of artwork. And we'll connect you with a conservator so that they can take a review of what your proposed materials and fabrication methods are, so that we're all in alignment as to what's the best way of moving forward. And then also in terms of documentation, we will help facilitate that as well. So taking images of the piece, getting all that descriptive information, a list of all the materials that were used, how should this be maintained, all those sorts of things will go into the final documentation, because we utilize a really cool database system called Public Art Archive, and that information is also available on the web. And so we want to be able to have all of that information included so that both people can, the general public can access that, and then we have a really rich database to be able to leave that for future generations. So everyone knows, if I need to use this kind of material, that's where that information lives. So in a short description, that will be our role as we move forward through this.
Okay, Nicole mentioned the Public Art Committee. The Public Art Committee is a group of people who serve as volunteers, and they have a few different roles. The Public Art Committee's roles are defined in those guidelines that Nicole mentioned, which is basically interpretation of a legal document that the city is saying, this is what you all need to do in order to uphold the goals that we have for this public art program. So the committee helps us execute all of those things. They are amongst some of the things that the Public Art Committee is doing is developing the city's public art collection. So if your piece is selected, it will be accessioned into the city's public art collection, which means that it is going to be taken care of by the city via the Arts Council, and all of the other inclusionary aspects of that, which include insurance and things like that. So we want to make sure that your piece is going to be basically voted on. Public Art Committee says yes, it's accessioned into the city's permanent collection. So in order to facilitate that, I myself, Nicole, Bruce, and some of our other stakeholders will be basically educating PAC, the Public Art Committee, about this project so they know what's going on. And then when the time comes, we're going to explain to them basically, this is the project, this is why we are advocating for it to be in the permanent collection. Ultimately, people will have questions, there'll be a discussion, but very loosely, that is the process that will involve the Public Art Committee voting for your piece to be in the permanent art collection. So there could be some back and forth, as in like needing to ask you questions, or maybe you join in for a meeting or something like that. But ultimately, we're here to make sure that your piece is clearly understood by the Public Art Committee, so we know how to take care of it and have it exist permanently in the city's art collection. So here's just a few other things that the Public Art Committee does. You might be familiar with the 1.5% for art program, which, you know, the percent for art exists in different iterations. In Portland, I think it's 2% for art. Salim, you mentioned a mural. A lot of murals in cities are funded through the percent for art process. So PAC is involved in that as well. PAC will also recommend when to use money from the Public Art Trust Fund. For instance, if a piece needs to be repaired or reassessed or relocated, those would be conversations that we have on PAC. PAC is also going to consider if there's a private developer who's putting up some apartments and they have potential space for some public art, that would be a conversation we have at PAC as well. And the committee is it consists of 7 members, and then there's 2 city councilors always on PAC, and they serve as liaisons, and they do not vote, but they have the responsibility to basically update city council in Lake Oswego about, you know, what's happening in PAC, what we're working on, and things like that. So that's maybe more information that you need to know about PAC, but that's kind of what we're working on in that committee, and that's a little bit of an idea of how your piece will be involved with this particular committee. So these are visions. This is the vision for the collections in Lake Oswego. We have the public art collection that is owned by the city, the public. It is their collection, and we break it up into 3 different categories. But overall, the vision of these collections is to enhance Lake Oswego's many neighborhoods and its downtown by increasing awareness of the city's history, cultural life, and surrounding environment. So any artwork that is brought into the permanent collections should satisfy that vision. The Arts Council of Lake Oswego works to fortify and enhance the public's understanding of the permanent and rotating art collections. With the support of the City of Lake Oswego and community members, the Arts Council of Lake Oswego develops consistent means and methods to continually improve maintenance and care of all works in the collections. So Nicole mentioned that process of having your artwork installed, all of the things, all of the different components that go along with that. So we are here to work on continuously making all of that better and more accessible and safer for everyone to experience the art collection. This is a lot of these are a lot of details about the sections in that public art guidelines. So that was the that's what I mentioned, which is basically a document that interprets our contract with the city. So you can see exactly what we are looking for when we look for art selection criteria. This is linked in your RFP, and I can link it again in the chat too. It's definitely good to go through it and have an understanding of things that we're looking for, but you by no means need to like deeply familiarize yourself with all of the sections of the public art guidelines, because it would take you a really long time. So we've pulled out these specific sections that address public art and the criteria for the artwork that comes into the collection. So if you have questions about them in particular, you can email myself or Nicole and we'll try to help you out. Everything is relatively straightforward though.
All of those items are included in the rubric that Bruce showed us earlier. And so each one of these things, like appropriateness to site, maintenance and security, all of those things are incorporated in the rubric, just so that we all are operating from the same kind of place, all coming to it, knowing that we're going to satisfy these criteria as well as the goals that Respond and the library have for this project. So it's multifaceted. But yes, any questions on any of these, Nora and I can answer those for you.
Okay, I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Nora and Nicole.
Ben, you have a question?
Yeah, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I think before any design can happen, there needs to be more clarification on how, is there a slab going to be provided? Does the artist provide the slab if it has to be bolted down? Do you envision a freestanding piece? I heard that it needs to be able to be moved in the future. You want it to be not temporary in the sense of it all. It's really not clear without knowing how you're going to attach it or where it can be and what you guys foresee how to even get started in the design. Can we have some more clarification on that?
Yeah, I think those are good questions, Ben. And I think as you delve more into the specific RFP, there are additional site photos.
Okay.
And there are more descriptions as to, okay, we're trying to be as open as possible, and not provide any restrictions. But I think we do see the interpretive panels as freestanding, and if those need to be seated in cement, then specify that in your plans.
Gotcha.
So so those sorts of things. And yes, you know, at some point the library probably will relocate and or be remodeled and or a new building sometime, somewhere. So that's why we're trying to build in this portability feature of it so that wherever the library may be in the future, that these pieces stay with it and can go with it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm.
Excuse me, I just have one question. Can you hear me? I'm kind of like late to the party, but I wanted to ask you, is it one visual that you were going to use, or is it a multitude of pieces that you picked from? Like the image that you showed earlier was just one piece, but I hear like panels. So is there, when you submit the artwork, make like a collage or kind of like, no, maybe it's in the, go back to piece, or how many panels is the art?
We're,
I'm
sorry, we're having
sorry
a
if
problem.
I kind of tuned out.
Oh, it's all right.
I didn't hear that. Hear the
I
question.
had my headphones in and my phone is dying. So I have like a iPhone charger, so I can't probably communicate. I just asked the questions through email. No one heard me?
Oh, I heard that part. As far
Yeah,
as
we can hear you
questions.
now just fine.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, my questions, hope I'm gonna try again. My question was, is it one image or is it different images, and how many panels, along with what are the dimensions? Or do you just submit it digitally and you guys kind of go from there?
It's really, I'd say it's really up to you as to how you want to utilize the space
Yes.
with the message that you want to bring to us. So whether that's one panel that gets installed, whether it's seven, I think you just lead us on that journey.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to be as open as possible. But you have to, I think what you're getting at is maybe one of your questions is we need to know, you need to take on the fabrication. The artist needs to take on the fabrication. It's not like we'll just get a digital file and then we figure out what to do with that. I
Oh,
think
got
that
you.
was one of your questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you want it to be produced on X kind of material, then that's part of this process as well. So you come to us with a finished piece that's installed in front of the library.
Okay. And I got you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, that's my only question. Thank you.
Okay, let's do a quick recap. Pull this back up. So again, for the timeline, the proposals are due at 11:59 p.m. on August 15th. After the selection process, notifications will be sent out on October 22nd. And August through November, that's the panel review selection and the beginning of the first distribution of funds. The design phase is through November through January. February through July will be fabrication and installation. And our hope is to complete and unveil the artwork in August 2026. So I'm gonna actually let me show this page here because I think the big thing is going to be, where do I apply? So go to respondtoracism.org, and I'll put the actual link in the chat. But if you go to respondtoracism.org and you go to the Get Involved menu, you'll find a request for proposal public art installation at Lake Oswego Public Library. So this page contains all the information you'll be looking for. So again, stuff about the background, the budget. There's a big button here that'll send you to the RFP. There's also the info for this info session we're doing right now. The scoring rubric, which I showed you earlier. Again, the important dates. Also, people to follow up with in terms of questions. So, for example, our project manager, Emily Prado, You can find her email here, note the 2 L's. You have Donna here for technical questions about the library or site-specific technical questions. And then you can also talk with Kelly Bird, who's the ADA coordinator at the city, for questions about accessibility and ADA compliance. So just to go to the proposal link itself again. Showed you this earlier. If you, as Nicole was mentioning, if you want to read the full RFP, there's also a link in there. So if you want a more detailed breakdown of everything, I'm just scrolling through it here quickly. But again, you can find site map, more on the site description. Here's some more detail as far as what we're looking for with the interpretive panels, as well as the sidewalk etchings. Some context about both our organizations, but also down here is, so history of racism and race in Lake Oswego. And then eligibility information, more on the budget, payment schedule, the selection process, a little bit on the permanent art collection. Again, how to apply, questions, and then I'm just scrolling down to the appendix here so you can find more sketches, video of the site, again, the scoring guide, sample budget, and the public art guidelines. So again, if you're looking for more detailed information on the RFP, is this link in the Google Doc here will give you everything you need to know. So and with that, we'll turn it over to people have additional questions. Yes, Howard?
My internet cut out briefly when Ben was speaking. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I know this is being recorded. Could anyone give me a high level of what he said, or should I just wait for the recording?
Yeah, so in so many words, I think what Ben was asking was basically how can we create a rendering or a drawing of a piece if we don't know how it's going to be attached, to the ground, or whether it's going to be on a wall. And we want the artist to come up with their own method of suggestion. The reason we've included that the piece should be, I forget exactly how we worded it in the RFP, but the piece should be able to be relocated is because eventually we foresee the public library moving to a new location. We have no timeline or information about that, but just at some point in the future that will likely happen. So we want to be able to transport the artwork from its current location at the public library to wherever the new location would be. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're coming up with your proposal. I think I summarized that. I'm okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm assuming that isn't the same for the stamps, because that's sort of, I'm guessing, in the cement. So that would sort of just be in that location. And
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Similarly, kind of along those same lines, it would. However, if you specify that a stamp would be produced to make the sidewalk etchings or however, or the design, or, if that stamp is produced, we can keep the stamp and then we can reproduce that at a new site. If you make some sort of embedded thing, that we can either recreate it the same way, or we might be able to take that embedded piece to the new location, wherever that might end up being. So think about that. Think about kind of reversibility and the ability of it to be located somewhere else without having to necessarily be recreated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
There is a lot of good information in the RFP and the linked documents that Bruce was showing everyone just a minute ago. So we tried to figure out hopefully what those questions might be and provide answers to those. But again, if there are any specific things, we have our contact information here coming up on one of the next slides so that we'll be able to answer questions for you.
Great segue. So again, just to share, if you want to learn more about the overall opportunity or the proposal process, the best person to talk to would be our project manager, Emily Prado, at emilygprado@gmail.com. Again, it's Emily with 2 L's. So for site-specific technical questions about the library, you can contact Donna at dharlan@lakeoswego.city. And then for ADA related questions, you can talk to the ADA coordinator, Kelly Bird. And that's at ada@lakeoswego.city or by phone at 503-635-0282. Extension 711. With that, I'd like to thank you all for attending. I just left the template kids picture in here because it felt happy enough and a little bit light. But before we leave, I will make sure to put the link to the request for proposals page in the chat for everyone. I'll stop sharing. Yeah, and with that, thank you all for attending this afternoon and good luck in submitting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.